Hi friends. I am Julie. Welcome to the channel Bollywood King. Here in this channel I usually react to different interesting Shah Rukh Khan videos. Today I am going to watch Shah Rukh Khan's interview to German TV, included opinions on him by Farah Khan, Karan Johar, Mushtaq Sheikh. As you know, Shah Rukh Khan has a lot of German fans and he is immensely loved there. I hope you will enjoy the video. Let's start without losing any time.
See, I understand Tom Cruise being liked in Germany. He's an international star. I don't understand me being liked in Germany. So I really want to come and spend time there and meet all the German people and ask them. And there was this beautiful lady who explained to me. She said, "You give us reason to cry." And so I'm like, okay, whatever the reason, as long as you love me. So I'd like to tell all the Germans, if they're watching this show, that I'll try and give you more reason to laugh now, hopefully, because I like people laughing and smiling. And when I meet people from Germany, like I'm meeting you, I feel like you are a part of me now. Now obviously years have gone by since that first reaction, and now when I see Germans coming here and all, I'm like, I don't find them Germans. It's no longer alien to me. It's like it's my people and I'm their people. It's like that.
Oh, he has invited them to his house.
And it's really wonderful. I have an eccentric, strange family. Yeah. I had even my side from my father's side in Peshawar. They have one brother who used to dance on top of roofs. They think I'm like him because he was a little mad. He was brahmachari, which means he would never marry. Yeah, he was from childhood he decided there's a way of being in India, which means you don't marry ever. You remain celibate. You don't remain celibate, but you don't marry. You see a lot of girls, but you don't marry. So he was like that, and he was an actor. So they say I've got his genes. But he used to just act on roads, and he used to dance like women, and he used to do get-ups and go to people and scare the whole family, and which is what I do. Yeah, so yeah, it's in the family. We are a little genetically demented family. No, I can't explain it. I don't know myself. I wish I had known. And I have a simple way that I work. I just work very hard. I hear a lot of stories, and more than the story, I just like the people who are making a film, and I say, okay, I'll do it. I think, at least in films, creatively, the secret of the success is that I just feel the goodness into it. I have no other reason. I'm not very calculating about the film that I'm doing. I'll be lying if I say I get sentimental about a film, that's why I do it. I would be lying if I say a certain topic touches me and is close to me, that's why I do it. I don't know, I just do it believing in a lot of goodness. And I say, okay, he or she believes it, looks very earnest about it. Like, I haven't signed a new film. I've had offers from some really nice filmmakers and some really nice and professional scripts, and I'm not decided. And then suddenly somebody will tell me, and that's why I do some films which go wrong also. I've never calculated what kind of film to do, and I think maybe that's why whatever the powers that be say, okay, he's doing it with a good heart, so let's just make it do well. I'm quite surprised with the kind of acumen I have for choosing scripts. I have lasted for so long, and that also, so I believe, I guess the people who, now I start telling everyone, I don't choose the films choose me. So it's easier to answer a question like this. I don't choose them, they choose me. So and I just try my best to do it well, and it works. It has worked. Every year I end up having, God has been kind, every year I end up having a film which does very, very well, and for years I've been on charts with the #1 film, #2 film, #3 film, and I'm like, okay, as a matter of fact, it's now strange if I don't make a hit film every year. So I feel like, oh, so there was not enough goodness, so I try and be better next year and try to spread that kind of goodness. And I truly believe, I tell everyone, it's a little spiritual with me now. So I just, okay, this is nice, let's just do it. And I play it very easy. I don't concentrate too much, I don't think too much, I don't believe too much, I just do it, and it turns out right. See, when I was young, I started off believing I'm the best, and I said, okay, I can change the world with my acting. Then I became less silly and more intelligent and less stupid, and I realized that I'm doing nothing special. There is no rocket science to acting. And then I became a big star. So now I very pompously state You don't have to give me a good role. You give me a role, I'll make it good. So I'm very
Wow. I love this. You don't have to give me a good role, you give me a role, I'll make it good.
confident about the technique because, like Noel Coward said, I know my lines and I don't stumble over the furniture. These are two things I'm very good at. As a matter of fact, some of the finest directors in this country, when they compliment me, they don't compliment me for the emotional content of my acting. They say he keeps good continuity. He's very good. If he's done this one time, he'll do it 100 times, exactly at the same place. So I don't fool myself into thinking that I'm a good actor. I'm not. There is nothing like a good actor. There is nothing like a great actor. Because you can't just suddenly say, because every time the product is new, the lines are new, the character is supposedly new. So how can you just make one statement and say, okay, this person is a good actor? It always has to be, did he play this well? Did he play this well? Did he play that well? So you can't make it a permanent thing that he's a good actor or she's a good actor. I think there's nothing like a good actor. We just go and say stuff and do stuff, and sometimes it turns well. Yes, over 17 years, if my technique was not good, if I still stumbled over furnitures, then I'm a fool. So I don't stumble over furnitures. I remember my lines. That's the least I can offer for the kind of monies they give me to do act in films. But besides that, I'm not a method actor. I'm a weird actor, I think. I think of what should not be and do it. I have no enigma around my acting. I don't have any research around my acting. I don't have any secret around my acting. I want to demystify what I do. And what I do is just say my lines and hope. I also believe there's nothing right or wrong in acting. You just say something, and a lot of people say it's okay, it's okay. You hear a word from the director and say okay, it's okay. So sometimes I do a scene and I'm like, no, this is wrong. And the director says okay. And I'm like, oh, he or she felt okay. So it must be right. Who am I to decide? So I just let it go. I'm very free about the acting bit. I'm very easy. And as I'm growing older, I want to do less and less and less and internalize it more. Because when I was young, I was, like I said, very stupid. I wanted to externalize and tell everyone, look, what a great actor I am. Now I want to tell myself that I'm a beautiful people. So I want to do it less and less, but given my parameters. So you see an Om Shanti Om, it's completely there because that's the film. You see Chak De, it's here because that's the film. So I enjoy film to film, and I can't say words like I discover myself with every film. I express my inner emotions. There is no mystery around my acting. I think anyone can act as long as you remember your lines and don't stumble over the furniture. I have a disease. I'm a workaholic, and it's like being an alcoholic. I just can't give it up. I've been unwell for 2 weeks, and I feel unwell, so I can't go to work. Because I can't go to work, I get worse. If I sit in one place, I'm stressed. The reason I'm not fidgeting too much is because I'm unwell. Otherwise, I hate sitting in one place. Some work has to be given to me. My wife and my children keep telling me that, you work 20 years round the clock. Why are you doing this? I don't think I need the money. I don't think I'm greedy for more fame. I'm doing okay. I can do one film in 2 years and be happy with it. But I'm just not happy. I tell everyone, if I'm not working, I'm depressed. So I don't know if it's a curse or a blessing. Maybe at the end of it all, when we die, God will say, did you work? I say, yes, a lot. Oh, damn, you go to hell because I didn't want anyone to work. Or it would be, oh, you worked. That's really nice because I wanted everyone to work. So I don't know. One of them is going to be right. But I just keep working. I think I have this fear that you have very few days in life and you need to cram it up with a lot of things. You need to fit it with so many things in it that you don't have space for life. It should be like that. When I'm not working, I get lonely, I get depressed, I get sad. I don't drink, I'm not a philosopher, I'm not a poet, that I like loneliness. I hate being alone. And I hate being with people at times. I'm unsocial. I'm very odd with people. So what happens is I have replaced people with work in my life. Because when I'm working, I'm with a lot of people. And there are people I can interact with because somewhere there is a wall that I'm not interacting with them socially. I'm interacting them through this common goal, that is the work. So I can discuss with her or discuss with him, and we are friends for that moment. Many of my
Oh my God. I can understand this very well. and friends how nicely he speaks.
Filmmaking colleagues complain that after the film is over, you don't talk to us. I can't explain to them. I don't have anything else to say. I love you. I miss you, but I miss you through the work. I don't. I mean, I'm very fond of a lot of people. A lot of people I love like family, and I can't pick up the phone and talk with them. I can't socialize with them. I can't sit and chat with them. But when we are working, I can just be with them. So I don't know. Work is sort of. I have replaced loneliness, depression, and people with work. I'd get depressed if I'm not surrounded by work. So I keep doing it. There's no other reason for it. I should not be working. I should be holidaying. I should be, wearing shorts and t-shirts and relax with the kids, play with the dogs, go on the beach. I've got beautiful houses everywhere. I should go and relax. And my family's in Delhi enjoying. I should be there. But I'm like, no, let me finish this work. I'll have another 2 meetings. If I'm not working, I'll have a meeting for no reason. The meeting goes nowhere, but I want to do it. So I keep working. I just keep working. And I like it. I like... I said it in my book also. I'd like it to be that I should die giving the last shot. There should be, it should be while I'm just acting. I just go off. So I have this strange, aggressive, passionate drive towards doing things. Work does not only mean films. It could mean I tell my wife, see, I have nothing to do. Can you tell me? I'll set up my library. Can I work there? She said, but the people who are doing it. No, I'd like to be there. So I like to go. Can I arrange the clothes in the cupboard? I need to do something. So I'm not saying it has to be important work. It just has to be work. If suppose my guys told me today we are constructing, today Sunday's off, will you, repair the windows? I would love to. I'll just sit down and start doing it. I'll wear my jeans and start doing it. So I like work.
We keep you busy.
Yeah, I don't mind being busy at all. I work best if I'm busy. If I have a lot of time on hand, I start thinking, and when I think, I don't come out with good things. I think I'm a labor class. If you can still have those distinctions, sorry I'm making those distinctions, but I'm the guy who, you give him a hammer, I'm good with that. You give me management stuff, mind stuff, I can't do it. I'm thick. I just want to work with hands. I have big hands, my kids say, and everyone who sees my hands, they say, you got big workers' hands. So I like it like that. They're rough, they feel like workers' hands. I think there's a lot of dignity in working with hands. I want every youngster, at least my children, I want them to have the capacity, the guts, the honesty and the innocence to turn around and say, I don't know. I think it's the most beautiful sentence in the world, I don't know. If you can take pride in that, I don't know. I want to be an Indian. You sit down in a meeting and I've sat in really big meetings and they say, this is what we plan to do. Do you understand? I said, no, I don't know. It's okay if I don't know. Tell me. Enlighten me. Because there's always going to be that much space in your head, your heart, that you need to learn more. So India means to me, I don't know, teach me. I want every youngster to have the guts and nobody to reprimand you. I don't want parents telling children, what, you don't know, I'll give you a slap. No, it's okay if you don't know. Because there is life to teach you. There is life to take so much from. Please, feel proud to be an Indian. Feel proud to say, I don't know. And that's what it means to me. So I tell everyone, just do it. Go wrong. And then say, why did you go wrong? I don't know. I gave it the best shot. And like you asked me in the beginning of the interview, how are you successful? I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't give a damn if I don't know. I'm happy not knowing as long as I'm doing. That's important. See, I believe in not knowing maybe, but I believe in doing. I've achieved all the luxuries of life, all the goodness of life just by doing, by knowing very little. But I do. And maybe that's what God made us for. To just go and do. In this world, just go and do. It's like sending you to Euro Disney. Just go and enjoy the rides. Just have a good time. Don't worry how it works. Don't think about what's happening. I want every Indian to believe that. Just enjoy the ride. Have a good time. Do things. Go wrong. Sometimes you feel sick after the ride. It's okay to feel a bit sick. It's all right. But just do it so that you have the full experience of life and come back. So whenever I'm given a platform, I tell them, see, I'm not going to be able to give you intelligent talk on this aspect of business that you're calling me for. But I can tell you about what I believe and what has worked for me. And I still don't know what has worked for me. But I will say by experience, this is what I did. So I believe being an Indian means the capacity to meet life head on. Go ahead and I'm not just talking about the big guys. I'm talking about every Indian should feel, let's go out. The lesser you have, there is more to get. It's nicer. You know, so Indians have had less for a long time, so they should go out and ask for more, take more. There is a lot more to get, and you'll only be happy. It's nice to start off from scratch. So I think that's, and it's proud to not have anything, and then make it. I did. I'm very proud. I'm very happy. So it should be like that. I believe that's how Indians should be. My family is not very impressed by me, which is nice because then I keep working towards wanting to impress them. My wife is very supportive of what I do. Initially, when we started, she didn't know what I was doing. You know, we are from Delhi. We are not from a film background like you know, and she was like a little wary because all you know about movie stars is that they sleep around and you know they party and they get drunk and they do drugs and then they destroy everybody's life around you and yeah. Like again, and it's a stereotype, and so of course she was wary of what was happening. But as the years have gone by, I think she has started respecting the fact that what I do is just enjoy the work, and she has started enjoying it with me. But still, as far as my creative aspect is concerned, there are a lot of times, you know, they don't like what I do, and my kids, I like the fact that they're not very impressed by me. I'm happy because it keeps me going. They know I'm a movie star. They just suddenly started realizing it in the last 2 years. They were too young. Earlier, they felt people are attacking their father when people came. They were like, why are they jumping on you? They used to get very scared in the cars and all. But now they have come to terms with it that I'm someone who's famous. You know, when I ask them, do you like Chak De? Yeah, nice. And that's the best I get from them. You know, you like Om Shanti? Yeah, first half very boring. Boring as hell, Papa. Second half nice. So I like the honesty and I don't try to change it. I've told people around me, never tell my kids to love me for my work. Of course, personally, they love me. I mean, they're mad about me. They don't think there's a better father in the world than me. But professionally, they are quite...
Even I think Shah Rukh Khan is the best father in the world. Actually, he is the best in everything.
Easy about my work. My biggest fear for my family in life, especially my kids, is that I hope they can live out of my shadow. They don't need to... My biggest fear is my fame onto them. I don't want them to ever fight that and say, oh, I'm better than my father. And I don't want them, least I want them is to get completely engulfed by it. That they don't need to do anything because they're my children. Fortunately, and in a certain sense, unfortunately, my name is big now. I would not be able to say this 5 years ago, but it's absolutely true that my name could spoil their lives. And I don't want that to happen. I don't want them to be actors just because I'm an actor. I want them to have, I would like to be known as their father. I would not like them to be known as my children. It's a fear, is what I work towards. I believe in good education. I want to give them the best education possible. I want them to understand hard work. That's all. Everything else, they have freedom of choice. I just want them to know, work hard, get out of the shadow of your dad, because your dad's shadow, anyway, he didn't deserve all this. So don't go by, you know, that you're Shah Rukh Khan's children. Lately, in the last 2-3 years, because of the injury I had, I find them getting a little sensitive about my work. Earlier, it wasn't so. I can sense that they can sense I'm sad if things haven't worked out well for me in my work. Earlier, I never used to, I still don't bring my work home, but I know they can sense it now. I feel them a little down when I'm down, and I know they feel it's important that a father remains on top. I feel sad at times that they have to feel this pressure of my job. I feel sad because, see, I can take the pressure. I like it. I do it. One day it'll all go away and I'll be sad. I don't want, I mean, they're no part of this. They don't need to do this. I'm enjoying the spoils of my fame. They're not. You know, they would have been my children either ways, and I would still love them. So why do they have to feel this pressure? So in that sense, I think the wife and the kids, I think they're strong people. I hope they remain healthy always. And I wish I did not. I know I bring in a lot of goodness in their life by being their father. I think a lot of goodness comes into life because of my fame. but I feel a little sad that they feel the pressure of my work. You know, they're like, Papa, is the film a hit? So no, it didn't do well. Are you sad? Come back one day from school and my daughter says, oh, my friend said you're not a good actor. Are you a bad actor? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I don't know how to explain things. Papa, are you the most handsome man in the world? I said, yeah. My friend said no. So I'm like, okay, okay, maybe her father is better looking. I don't know how to explain a lot of things to them. But I can sense that they have a pressure. The pressure that their father should win, should be first, should be the number one, should be the biggest star in the world. And it's a little unfortunate. But they cope with it.
Oh, that's something I didn't know. It must be very difficult for him to explain such things to his children.
I mean, you know, I try to give them extra love and extra protection so they get unaffected by this, you know, somehow. But I don't think I'll be able to avoid it. I think finally this will be perhaps a little sad aspect of my stardom. Otherwise, otherwise all will be good. I know very truly I'm not a genius. I'm very clearly not gifted. And I know that the position I've reached is a position that should be given to a genius. It's not deservingly so. So the reason I'm good to fans or I believe in them is because one, I'm employed by them, so I'm like, thank you guys, you've been kind to me. So I'm returning that kindness. Or the second way to look at it is that, okay, listen, I'm really scared, don't go anywhere because I know I don't deserve it, but thank you so much. So, you know, stick on. I'm just being, what do you say, I'm being kind to them for my own selfish gains. But whatever the case, I'm immensely grateful. I think it comes out of gratitude. It doesn't come out of any other reason. If I see on weekends, I have hundreds of people outside my house. Today, Sunday, a lot of people will come out in the evening, and I feel like going and meeting them all. My security with the gun says don't, but I want to meet them because, you know, I'm like, I have to thank them. So I think fans are like how you feel in front of an ocean. You know, sometimes when you are so full of yourself, you go down on a beach and stand in front of the sea and realize how insignificant you are. And you know, all the importance in your house, in your well upholstered rooms and your Louis Vuittons and your you know, BMWs, and you're like, oh God, I'm so powerful. And then you go and stand in front of the sea and you realize you're such an insignificant nobody in the larger scheme of things. Fans to me are like that sea. When I see them, I realize my insignificance without them. I want to go and stand with them and say, okay, I'm insignificant, but thank you for making me so significant, for making me so special. There is this feeling that, you know, Germans are colder people. It's a misnomer. It's a wrong feeling. But this is the, like how Indians are dirty. So, you know, you have these stereotypes everywhere, and I wouldn't deny that I wasn't part of that stereotype. And I'm like, and when I met them, it's only that I don't know the language, that's why I don't understand them. But they're so beautiful, the people. They were so nice. Actually, when I got off the airport and I was walking down, there were 40, 50 Germans, and I was like real taken aback because I thought people in Germany meant Southeast Asians, so, but they were Germans. And I'm like, okay, this group has hired these people to make me feel nice. And I met them, and they couldn't express themselves. And you know, when you can't express yourself to each other, you become gentle. And you know, you don't know what to say, so you ask for an autograph. Like if you know the language, you say, I want your autograph, I want your autograph. When you don't know the language, you know, you're gentle. So they're gentle with me. And I was so, I felt, oh, you know, how does this person relate to me? He's got golden hair. You know, she's so fair, she's got blue eyes, and doesn't know my language from anywhere. And I'm like, okay, you know, and slowly I understood that language is not a barrier, you know, and how easy it is to relate to someone. And so I'm suddenly in love with German people without even knowing Germany, you know. So it's that kind of interaction which makes you feel very strangely close. and I don't like to call them fans. I mean, just to tell you one other word, I don't like calling people fans because I find it derogatory. I think I like to call them my employers. They're my employers. So I'm very thankful to German employers.
Well, for me, I think Shah Rukh's energy in a song definitely scores over his technique. I know he's not the most perfect dancer, you know, his lines may not be clean and his toes may not be pointed, but he just brings in this whole, you know, energetic field with him when he comes. And I mean, if you've seen the song On Top of the Train, I don't think anybody in the world could have done it but Shah Rukh, and he wasn't harnessed, he wasn't clipped onto a belt or any kind of safety measure. He just went up there and he was jumping on top of a moving train, and there was literally a bridge 200 feet down. There was a valley, and he's just fearless, I think. And especially in Om Shanti Om, we made him do almost like I like to say a semi-nude dance, which is the first time he's done it because he got these great six-pack abs and he, you know, he built his body for it. But I think he was just so eager to get it over with fast that he was dancing well, and so we wouldn't have to keep on doing it again and again. But I think it's just, and also his expression, especially in romantic songs, I don't think anybody can beat him in a romantic song. You know, he really looks like he's in love with a girl when he might actually be just thinking about his dog or something. Shah Rukh and me have been working together for almost 15 years now. Both our second films we did together, and from then on we've been friends. But in 15 years he has never come even once for a rehearsal. You know, so I've gotten used to doing my choreography around him. There are like sometimes I do a step and maybe he can't do it, he does it in a different way. So I make all the dancers around him do it the way he's doing it, so it looks like he's coordinating. But I more or less know, I mean, I wouldn't make him do break dance or, you know, some kind of robotics or something. I know what suits him. There's a flamboyance to him. He has a good body language, and there's more style than actual dance steps which you need to give him. And I think that's what makes him a star also. He dances like a hero. You know, he doesn't dance like a dancer.
And it is so pleasant to see Shah Rukh Khan dancing. It is such a treat.
I think for me, the best quality of Shah Rukh, I mean, there are many, many qualities. A, that he is willing to do anything for the shot. There is nothing that he will not do to make that shot better, whether it's for himself or whether it's for his co-actor or whether it's just for the scene. He would go to any length. You know, there are some actors who are lazy and who say, oh, get it over with, you know, why should I do it again? And but he'll just go on doing it again and again. And the second thing is that he really, you think that he's being frivolous about it, or you know, he's not so thinking about it for so long and getting into the method of it, but he actually does think a lot about the script, and he remembers little things from it which I might have forgotten. You know, there are pointers in the script which I've given him 6 months ago, and then when we are shooting I've forgotten it, but he actually remembers it, and he reminds you about it and makes you use it. So he's really very helpful, and he's the most generous actor I've ever seen. I mean, even in Om Shanti Om, there was a new girl, Deepika, and he was so generous with her. He would stand behind the camera and give her lines and rehearse with her, come for the shoots when he wasn't even required for shooting, just to make sure that she would practice. And even whether it was with Arjun Rampal or anybody, he would, there are so many times in my previous movie, Main Hoon Na, where he just had to stand in the background and somebody else, the scene was with, you know, with a younger guy who was saying all the lines, and he has no problems doing that. So he's actually quite selfless, I must say, and a very generous actor. See, as a producer, sometimes I feel that I am the producer of the film, because you know, producer is supposed to save money and, you know, control the budget, and the director is supposed to be like flamboyant and say no, I want 500 people. But it was the other way around here. It was like me trying to save on the budget and saying we can do it smaller, or let's make the set a bit smaller. And this mad person would come and say, why is this set so small? Make it bigger, spend more money. You're like, you know, you're not really a very good producer. You're a very generous producer, but you're not very business minded. So he's, as a producer, I think he's even more generous than as an actor. He really wants to make sure the staff is treated, the crew is treated well, you know, the rooms are good. And when in Om Shanti Om we did a song with 30 stars, where 30 stars came and did a cameo for us. And really, I mean, Shah Rukh, we used to call him the, you know, the watchman. We called him the Darban, because he was only running and opening doors for people and making sure they were put in the cars, and then standing and waving out bye to them. You are like, you know, you're just like the biggest star in India. Will you go back to your van? But he was just generous, and we made made these big hampers with, you know, really expensive gifts for everybody. And so I think as a
It is something I expected from him. Have heard so many such things about him.
producer, he wants to be, he likes that if people come and work in his production, they should be pampered and they should be, you know, treated well. And because as a star, I think he would like that when he works for other producers, and maybe sometimes that doesn't happen. You know, a lot of producers skimp and save, but here I was the one doing that. Well, one, though, Shah Rukh is really unpunctual, so that kind of sets him apart, which I keep telling him. But other than that, I think no, when he comes on the set, he's all there, and he, like I said, he would do anything for the shot, and he actually does not behave like a star on the set. I mean, I worked with lesser stars who have bigger tantrums and lot of complexes and lot of ego problems, and you know, they want to be treated and they want the biggest van. I mean, in the last 15 years, Shah Rukh has the worst van that any star can have in the industry. If you see his van, it is pathetic, and I keep begging of him, you know, it's not an ego thing, it's just for comfort. Can you get a better van? He's like, you know, but if I do, then that poor guy who brings a van every day for me, he'll be out of a job. So he'll do that. So I think he himself doesn't treat himself like a big star. He has the least amount of ego problems. If there's no first class ticket, I've seen him sit in economy and go for shows or give his ticket to somebody. So I think because he's such a big star, he doesn't need to prove it, you know, whereas somebody else at all times they need to prove their stardom. So I think that, and other than that, like I told you, he's just fun to work with also. He's great fun to work with, you know. He brings this whole energy on the set. Everyone gets happy when Shah Rukh comes on the set, you know. The light boys are grinning and the assistants are happy and the cameraman's happy. He brings a lot of joy to the set. See, I've been friends with Shah Rukh for the last 15 years, and there are a lot of things that I mean, we accept about Shah Rukh. I know he won't pick up my calls at times. He doesn't pick up his wife's calls. You know, he doesn't reply back to SMSs. But you forgive all that, because you know that when you really need him, he's there, all there. I mean, there are so many times when I've, you know, been down or depressed, and, you know, just spoken to him on the phone, and 1 hour later he was at my doorstep, you know, and he'll come in and he'll sit and he'll be daddy to you, and, you know, give you advice. And I think he's all there when you need him. He's there for you 200%, you know, if you need him for anything. But other than that, if you don't call him for 1 month, sometimes I don't speak to him for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it's fine, because, you know, we don't need to have idle chatter. But when you need him, and he has a great sense of humor. So for me, that's really important, because we share a kind of a mad, as you can see in our movies, it's quite irreverent and black. And but as he's growing older, he's going towards sainthood. I've been telling him he's becoming this saint, Shah Rukh, and he keeps shouting at me at all times and saying, don't say this, don't say that. but he's a great friend to have. My favorite movie with him, I guess it would have to be Om Shanti Om, because we just had the time of our life making this movie, as is very evident when you see the movie. And also I think because I made him do a lot of stuff that others may not make him do, and that he really enjoys. I think there's a childlike quality. I mean, he really enjoyed doing that cowboy fight, you know, with a stuffed tiger, and he loved wearing that superhero costume with the terrible underwear on top of the thing. And there are a lot of things which I can get away by making him do, because he knows it's mad and irreverent, but I'll present him well. I mean, I'm sure he would never remove his shirt for anybody else in a film, but he did it for me because he knew that I'd really present him well. And of course I embarrassed him to death during the shoot. But I think because also it's the last movie that we've done together, we really, I don't remember a day when we didn't have fun on the sets. We really had a great time shooting this film. See, I am very fond of Shah Rukh the star. You know, I know a lot of people like to see him de-glamorized and de-starred and being very serious. And I mean, you know, and then that's then they say, oh, now he's become an actor. No, he's a great actor, and he's also a huge star. And I think I love watching him do the things that make him a big star, because I identify with the masses. I think that's what they like, seeing him in an Om Shanti Om or a Main Hoon Na or a Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. Or of course they like seeing him in a Chak De also, but I don't think for very long. Once in a way maybe, you know.
Personally, I like him in any role.
So I think I would want to see him do these larger than life roles. And I really think, I mean, if there's somebody going international from India, it has to be him, because the kind of fan following he has all over Europe and everywhere, it's I think he's really taken Bollywood places, you know, instead of the other way around. He's the one who's, because of him, people all over Germany, all over France, all over Russia. I mean, we opened our website and we were flooded with people, you know, fans from Russia and Prague and Czechoslovakia, and they're all mad about Shah Rukh. So he's really taking us places. So that's a big achievement for a single person to do. I mean, he's really taking Indian cinema to various places where it might never reach otherwise. That's Shah Rukh in the end credits wants the credit of thrills, because that's, I mean, it's not only a superstition, but it's also because he never uses a duplicate in the action. You know, he's always doing it himself, and this thrills is a very Indian concept. When it's not actually action and it's just like falling down, or it's like the cowboy fight or something. In old 70s movies, they used to write thrills instead of action, or you know, action director or stunt master or something. They used to just write thrills. So it could have been just someone taking a flip, or you know, some dog jumping or something. So we just kept that as a superstition. And because he does all his fights himself, and also because he gives a lot of input in the action, I mean, he really gets his cheap thrills from that, which is why I let him have that. And I think that excites him more than his name coming as a star or as the producer of the film. So it's just become a superstition now, so we keep it at all times. Yeah, I mean, I have to really curb his enthusiasm for jumping all over the place, because in between Main Hoon Na, his back went for a toss and he had to have an operation. And then he came back and did all the stunts with after a spine operation. But in Om Shanti Om, I think he was just fit and fine, and he was working out, and you know, his body was in great shape and all that. Unfortunately, I didn't put too much action in Om Shanti Om, because I was fed up of doing action in Main Hoon Na. it was really like it was going out of my control. So Om Shanti Om had lesser, it wasn't an action film in that way. The action was more drama or more emotional or just funny action. But yeah, for somebody to get that out of the way and then just continue, I mean, because at one time for a year he was at home in agony, and I think that was really the most, the lowest period for him, because his back, it was like, you know, you never know whether he would ever recover or would he get back into working, because he just couldn't function. He couldn't lift his left hand up, and you know, he was putting off his surgery because it is scary to operate on your spine. And I think he has a titanium disc now instead of one of the what do you call that, discs, spine cut disc inside. So, and with all that, to get a body like that at the age of 42 now and do, that's just him. If he wants, he can do anything. So hopefully he'll stop smoking one day. I wish I could come, because I know how much fun it'll be to watch Om Shanti Om with the Germans, with the German crowd and the fans, because they had loved Mehuna. I mean, it was flooded with you know, messages on the website, because they had really loved Mehuna, and I think they kind of get our sense of humor, and they love our songs and dances. So it would have been a great experience. But I'm sure, I mean, for Shah Rukh, if I'm really proud that it's my movie that is going to Berlin, and he's the producer of the film. So for a change, it's really nice. I think that's makes me really proud that as a producer, he can take a film and, you know, premiere it in Berlin.
Shah Rukh Khan's instinct is what makes him the actor he is. When he reads the scene, he knows what he's going to do, and he instinctively has these nuances, or what you call these inflections that he brings to his character at that moment, that he feels will contribute to the scene or to his performance in the film. And his instinct tells him exactly what to do. Like, he'll do things instinctively. Like, suddenly if there's a shot where the girl has to walk away from him and he has to give a look, his look will his instinct will tell him to give a look that will just throw you off guard, but yet it will work tremendously for the moment. Like when we did
Shah Rukh Khan always says that acting is spiritual for him.
He said, I want to, because of his pain, he says, I want to wince a lot. Because of his leg, he walks with a limp. He said, but I want to use that wince even in emotional scenes, because I'm so used to that expression. So he thought about it. He says, a man who walks with pain winces a lot, but that also becomes part of his facial makeup. And that's what he says, I want to bring into my character. So they're little things, they're little thoughts. Shah Rukh works a lot on his character. He may not make it obvious. That's another great quality. He doesn't make his hard work obvious. He won't scream at you, and he won't like throw it at you that look how hard I'm working on my character, look how I know my lines, look how much I've contributed to the scene. It'll be done in the background. All this work will be done while he's getting ready, the night before, or maybe the month before. He'll have thought everything out. And when he's on set, then it's just coming out there, and you think it's all coming out effortlessly. And of course it is, but there's a lot of work he's done. He's contributed a lot to the scene, to the film, to the moment, and he's worked at it. He is all about homework, but not letting you know he's done it. He's not self-deprecating, because there is an air of confidence that he definitely has. He knows what he's talking about. He knows the power he has. He knows the aura that surrounds him. But yet there's something so human and down-to-earth about him that's what makes him the superstar he is. Like, everyone says, why is Shah Rukh Khan this legend at 42? Why is he the country's biggest superstar? Why is he this euphoric legend and this big name? And I'm like, it's a lot to do with his off-screen presence. Much more than his on-screen presence, it's Shah Rukh Khan, the man off-screen. The way people perceive him off-screen, the way he addresses people, the way he stands on platforms, be it social, economic, political, film platforms, the way he gives an interview, the way he just speaks on camera to people out there, they start believing he's a member of their family. That's what happens with Shah Rukh. There's an immediate connectivity. Immediately he becomes your husband, he becomes your father, he becomes your brother, he becomes your best friend. You suddenly feel like Shah Rukh apna hai, like we say in Hindi, which means he's mine. You start believing that he's completely a member of your family. So when you meet him, you feel you're meeting. That's why he gets a lot of fans who kind of feel they own him, because they feel they've known him as a member of their family for years and years and years, and he instills that kind of familiarity in you as a fan. That's the magic of Shah Rukh Khan. Like at 3 or 4 in the morning, if I need to talk about anything, I know it'll be Shah Rukh. I'll call him. It could be about anything, professional, personal, emotional, and he's just been there. He's like, to me, he's like, he kind of replaces my father in my life, and which is what my equation with him is all about. Lesser known fact, we are not friends. His wife is my friend. He's like an elder brother or a father to me. I'm scared of him. I'm petrified of him. When he walks into a room, I stand up, like I would if my father walked into a room. So I'm actually scared. I seek his approval. I absolutely enjoy his acceptance, and that's just the way it is. Like, everyone thinks Shah Rukh and I are best friends. He's not my best friend, and I want to clear this record right now. His wife is my close and my best friend. He is like my father, and that's the way it will always be.
I think theirs is very beautiful and interesting relationship. And I think his friends are too lucky to have him.
Shah Rukh Khan's best performance before was a film called Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na, which he was absolutely spectacular, and I think there was a certain level of innocence in that performance, rawness, that I think is very difficult to revisit once you become such a big star. It's an amazing performance. It's almost like Shah Rukh Khan unplugged. I mean, if you watch that, you know what I'm talking about. Kabhi Haan Kabhi Na, which means sometimes yes, sometimes no. Recently, what swept me off my feet was Chak De. I think he played Kabir Khan. He was no longer Shah Rukh Khan. There was nothing Shah Rukh Khan about his performance, and that was what was absolutely brilliant. There's one moment right towards the end of that film, and I beseech everyone who is hearing this to watch that film and keep this moment in mind, because it's a true actor celluloid moment. It's a moment where the girl team wins in the end, and he just steps back, almost stumbles, and I think it's really a moment of his career. The kind of expression he has, the body language, the way he gives away, just gives away. He doesn't know how to handle the euphoria of the moment, that he kind of crumbles under that excitement, and it's a magical moment. It's a moment of Shah Rukh Khan. Please watch it just to know the genius of that man. To us, the audiences of Germany are exceptionally special. I mean, I've never felt so loved in my life as I did when I visited Frankfurt or Hamburg for the film festival, or Frankfurt for the book fair. I couldn't believe, and I must say this, and I don't know whether you'll use this or not, but and though I'm his son, and I shouldn't be, I think, blowing my father's trumpet, but I'd like to say that he's actually the pioneer of this movement. Back in 2001 at Cannes, the year Devdas was screened, it was 2002, sorry, my father had a stall, and we sold Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham for the first time to Rapid Eye, and nobody had heard of our films. It was the first foray into European cinema, into the European market vis-a-vis this zone of filmmaking. And Kabhi Khushi we titled as the Indian Family at that time, and my father had great conviction that Kabhi Khushi would kind of cross boundaries. He just felt it was quintessential Indian cinema and had everything that would appeal to people who may not be Asian, because it speaks a lot about us as an Indian community. And he kind of took the film there. And I think it was, I think, a defining moment for our success in Europe. And I will always thank my father for having opened so many vistas and doors. But back to your question about Shah Rukh and me being responsible, as you say, rightfully, for the euphoria that surrounds our films in Germany or sections of Europe. And I'd like to say that I feel very honored and privileged to be in that place, to know that I can impact a certain country that doesn't speak our language, that doesn't know where we come from emotionally, and have connected with us as human beings via by our cinema. And I think it's a lot to do with maybe the content of our films. Like I was at a festival and I asked a German lady, and I went up to her and I said, "Ma'am, you're crying and I need to ask you something." Towards the end of the film she came out weeping, and I said, "Please, just for my sake, tell me why you like this film." Because I really wanted to know. I wanted an answer to that question. She said, "I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I laughed and I cried." And she says, "I feel I lived a life in these 3 hours, something that many people don't do in their entire lifetimes. I feel I've done in this 3-hour time zone." And that for me is a very great feeling. I feel I've lived an entire life, and now tonight when I go home, I think I'm going to sleep very content. And that for me is Bollywood. And that for me encompassed why we work. Two answers to your question when you ask how important it is. In terms of monies, important enough, but not tremendously important in terms of it's not giving us the kind of monies that would kind of make or break budgets of a film. But what is even more important, because monetary, I'm not all about making the monies. For me, monies will always come secondary. But prestige and status and just sheer gut happiness, I think that overrides any kind of monies or economics, then it would be very high. Because the fact that an entire country, let's speak Germany specific, if Shah Rukh Khan walks the streets of Germany, he's going to get recognized. How brilliant is that? How amazing is that? It's a country that doesn't speak our language, knows nothing about probably various other cinemas of the world, but is totally patronizing Shah Rukh Khan or our cinema and loves it to death. How amazing is that? So for me, it overrides any kind of monies that come out of that market, which I'm sure enough do, and it is a large section than it ever was. It's been a giant quantum leap from X to X plus 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 plus. That's how the market in Germany has grown. But just when I went, as I said, or when Shah Rukh will go now to Berlin for the film festival, he will see for himself the euphoria, the excitement, the screams and shouts for him or for our cinema. The fact that everyone's heard of Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham and Kuch Kuch Hota Hai and his other films. I can't tell you the excitement, and it's coming really from within. And for me, as I said, two different reasons make me happy. A, I feel it's a triumph for my father, and I feel wherever he is, I think he's really happy with what's happening in Germany. And me personally, as a filmmaker, nothing can make me more excited that an entire country is singing our songs without even understanding them. And I think that it is a great, I think, pat on Bollywood's back.
Mushtaq Sheikh is an author of the book about Shah Rukh Khan called Still Reading Khan.
Shah Rukh Khan became an actor because he had no other choice, according to me. I also feel he's an actor by default, and some stars somewhere, conjoined in a particular way to make Shah Rukh stick in Bombay. And when I did the research, his whole game plan was to come to Bombay, try his hand, see how it goes, and go back to Delhi. He had no intent to really stay back. But then there were tragedies in his house, and then he lost his parents, and the last straw was when he lost his mother. So as a, like a fight back, when you fight back a situation which is really pulling you down, you just like tie up all your memories and your sad memories from the city and uproot yourself and come to Bombay and say, let that be. And that's how Bombay happened to him. And then, like he says, he's God's favorite child. Everything fell in place. If you rewind back and see, if Shah Rukh Khan would have encountered, say, 6 flops at a go, like we have other film stars who encounter 11 to 13 flops in the first go, they still keep on trying. But I don't think Shah Rukh would have, if all would have been fine in Delhi. He was doing rather fine with himself there. He has his friends, his family, his theatre group. It was just an instinctive thing to come to Bombay, to try. It worked. And then, to make things very, very sad and ironical, it was tragedy that made him stick to Bombay. And if there weren't any tragedy in his life, or there was not that poignancy, that poignant moment in his life where you lose your parents, he would have gone back to his parents. So it would be bye-bye to Bollywood. And then we would not be sitting down and talking about a man who became the biggest in Bollywood ever. But like I say, such things are pre-planned. Destiny knew where he was going. And his parents sit there as angels looking over him and guiding him where he's going. And if he's ruling the world, it's because I think they say nice things to God about him, and only good things happen to him. So, and I also believe that good things happen to only good people. So that's proof enough that Shah Rukh is very good. I remember Shah Rukh telling me that his mom really wanted him to be in the movies in Bollywood. And I remember on television, or when he came in 4G and people started calling Delhi for him, I remember there are times where his mother has taken down phone numbers of producers and told him to call back. And many a times Shah Rukh has not done it. And obviously when you have a mother who keeps on telling you, sometimes you just get up and do it. And that's what Shah Rukh did. And I know his mom seriously wanted him. Like he says that when he really became big, his biggest tragedy of his life is his parents didn't see him on screen. And that's the sad part of the whole success story. If his mom and dad had seen it, then it would almost be utopia, because his mom wished him to be the biggest star. And even when he was a kid, she always felt that he would be a very big star. So it was almost like preempting the future, but not being there when the son became the biggest thing ever. Actually, that's exactly what drove me back to Delhi, where Shah Rukh comes from. Lot is known about the man once he comes to Bombay, but when I was doing the biography, the only section which was a little shrouded and one didn't know what was happening was the Delhi portion. And when a person is so positive, as you say, everybody would say, because that's the first thing, like I've written in the book, there's not one negative bone in this man's body. Anything you tell him, he seems to have a positive take on it. You know, the glass is always half full. It's never half empty for this man. I knew it needed to come from somewhere. And then when you go back, I feel it's everything that his mom and dad did instill in him. His dad was a cool dude, as Shah Rukh himself says. He was a dad who would surprise you. And I think Shah Rukh is someone who's taken those nuggets of wisdom from his dad. And it looks like there's no great rush. I mean, whatever there is, we'll take care of it. Like he tells a very nice incident when he was really small, and he takes goes into a biff baff with one of those kids, and the kid's parent comes back to the house, and Shah Rukh is in the house, and he expects his dad to just go there and fight for him like you and me both would expect. And there his dad opens the door, gets to know what the problem is, moves out of the way, and he says, "That's your culprit." He looks at Shah Rukh and says, "Why don't you get up and fight your own battles?" Anyone who seems to have been brought up this way, I'm sure, would look at the positive side of life. And that's
Wow. This is very interesting.
exactly what Shah Rukh brings in all our lives. Friends, colleagues, he's a solution finder. He's somebody, believe it or not, even if you have a problem in a relationship, he has a different take on it. But if your iPod is not working, you are sure shot going to find a solution with Shah Rukh, because he's a manual reader too. So he goes into those gizmos and finds out every small little mistake and comes out with the answer. So he has the answers. I feel, Yeah, there has been great source of growth. There's growth in the man. As far as art form goes, he has pushed the envelope, and he did so when he began. I mean, it's not that he waited for the so-called throne to come to him or the crown to come to him. He's someone who's gone by his heart instinctively. He says there never seems to be a strategy in whatever he's done. He's instinctively done, pushed the heroine of a bloody terrace, for God's sake. I mean, who does that when you're just formulating a career? You don't do that. It could be almost suicide in this business, but he did it. He you know, he has done everything that one is expected not to do in his earlier part of his career. So I think when it became a little later now, when he was given this whole status of being the biggest star of Bollywood, or the biggest man we as an industry have, I think then Shah Rukh has started thinking of what he needs to do, and maybe going a little more than what you expect a Rahul to do. So he knows there are expectations, he knows he needs to meet them, but earlier when he played his cards, he played it through his heart. Now there seems to be a little planning, and why not? The man has worked his butt off for years together. He seems to have the luxury of choice today, and he's going to exercise it with all the wisdom that he has. And he's doing a fine job if you look at the kind of movies he's selecting. So you have your Devdas, but you have your Chak De, you have your Paheli, you have your Om Shanti Om. So he gives you the buffet. It's like a buffet. He seems to go all out, entertain you. He seems to catch you by the collar and say, hey, don't take me lightly, I can act. And he does his, he's paying his respects to everything that you expect from a Bollywood megastar. And he doesn't seem to shortchange you in anything. And I think that's one of the beauty of Shah Rukh's career. You don't see him absolutely like an intellectual geek, nor do you see him like a over-the-top dimwit. He doesn't set into one mold. He seems to shock you and surprise you with every second movie. And I think that's his enduring power. And I think that's what will take this man, decades and decades into the future. He's heading to Iceland also. I think he's going to have some fans in Eskimos. I think he's going to places where Hindi movies have never been. I mean, a German TV is interviewing me and asking me about Shah Rukh Khan. That feels good in the first place. My email box is full of people all across the world, and I want to say Germans love Shah Rukh Khan. Around about 70% of my mail is from Germans. So I understand his power, his magic. I see Shah Rukh taking Bollywood to places like the Tundra region in the next 10 years. But apart from that, I also see him turning a director. I think he will one day surprise all of us and say, hey, this movie I'm going to direct, because his clarity, his vision, his wanting to do something in a particular way is one of the striking features any director of caliber would have. He seemed to know exactly what he wants. He lightly says things like, I'm not into clothes and colors and whatever, just give me the whole picture and I do fine. But actually that man is extremely intelligent and smart. And he's an avid human watcher. He knows body language. He knows when someone's upset, when someone's not, what to say when. And when you narrate a scene to him, he seems to understand psychology of each character in the scene, which is a hallmark of any director. And I think the day he turns director, oh my God, this world needs to watch out. He's going to rock. For me, writing Om Shanti Om meant so much simply because Shah Rukh trusted that I would do it. And the very fact that it comes from that man made me like sit up and say, hey, this needs all the attention in the world. But when I heard the story, I knew why he wanted me to do the movie. The movie is a movie about movies. My experience over the years is about movies and movie stars and movie business. So this movie required those small little nuances of stars, movie making, the kinks and the chinks in the armors of stars. So all that you saw in the movie is things that we have seen in life. In fact, there was so much of real happening in Om Shanti Om that we didn't know when we were getting into fiction and when we were getting into non-fiction. That's actually all the fun of Om Shanti Om nevertheless. But the challenge here was to make a movie which does not take itself too seriously, but at the same time does justice to the most important and serious business of entertaining an audience. And that's a huge difficult task. We had another big problem was it was a story about reincarnation. And come hell or come storm, you tackle a reincarnation story in one particular way. You don't, you're stuck by its premise itself. What do you do with it? So to package reincarnation in a brand new way, to give you Shah Rukh Khan like Om Prakash Makhija was a challenge itself. To get into two eras and to again keep you glued to the seat that you ask for more, or to get into, almost making it as surreal as he's going to come back, he's going to be reborn. Maybe I don't believe in it, maybe Farah didn't believe in it, but our conviction about reincarnation seemed to come out in the script, and that's what matters. And all that catered in making this film the most challenging film that we have done. But to fit Shah Rukh Khan in it, and he's also coming out from another film called Chak De. So that was another onus. I mean, there you have, as in hockey coach, and here he was going to be saying Raskala and wearing those things and saying naughty pussy to a cotton-filled tiger. I think it was a Mad Hatter. It was a completely demented film to actually make a movie like this and do a fine job of it was going to be the challenge. And I think we saw that on paper. We did see that on paper. And luckily for us, all the humor that I and Farah would discuss or seem to translate. And that's thanks to the magic of Shah Rukh Khan. Because just remove Shah Rukh Khan from Om Shanti Om, and I challenge you, put anybody there. I think you would have a bloody sitting duck, if there's no Shah Rukh Khan in Om Shanti Om.
Yes, I am 100% agree with this.
It's the magic of SRK, and like Om Shanti Om, they say OSO stands for SRK according to me. Oh, absolutely thrilled. Absolutely. You mean the Om Shanti Om results? Oh my God, you have no idea. There's so many times when you write something on paper, it feels like, I don't know how they're going to shoot this or how this is going to come across on screen. But when we sat there in the dark confines to see the film for the very first time, we knew that we had a winner because whether it's Farah's vision or be it Shah Rukh's antiques, he's taken it to another level. And Farah, with all her, experience of knowing the business. Now Farah is also a film child, and Farah is a child of the 70s too. Ditto with me. But my work finished on the paper, and Farah took it beyond there. So when you have so many people absolutely obsessed about the times or the art form, you just could not go wrong. I mean, there was mind, body, soul, heart, everything working well in OSO. And then finally we got 3 thumbs up from the audience. So it's like magically everything coming together. And like they say, picture abhi baki hai mere yaar.
Which you translate for us now.
Which basically means there's still more to come. If he would not been an actor, he would be a spiritual guru, according to me. I think he would be a guru. You know, one of those guys with a big beard who who show you the pathway and who have like thousands and thousands of followers, and who go for solution finding to him, and he would also maybe be the generator for new religion. Because I always find Shah Rukh's take on everything extremely unique. He reverses the thing. The way he looks at things is different. The solution finding is different. The format is different. The way he talks to his kids is different. The way he talks to his wife is different. The way he looks at a script is different. And I mean different in the sense that I've known others too look at the same problem, or the same issues, or the same script, or the same. The way he does it, that's what leaders are all about. You get followers when you're shown a different path. And if it's a path not really taken by many, that's when you become the guy who's a trendsetter. And if Shah Rukh would not have been an actor, I can bet my life on this, you would still be seeing these huge posters of him in God Channel or something, where you have this guy raising his hands up in the same particular way he does it in movies and say, follow me to nirvana, or follow me to spiritual happiness, because he seems to have the way always.
See, I'm also constructed by the parameters of the films I do. I do commercial cinema. My first point of view is that people should enjoy it. So sometimes, or many times, I have to subdue a lot of wacky thoughts. No, I need to just put the message across, laugh. I need to put the message across, cry. Forget everything else. Let's not get, like I was just telling you, when I see a film like Life of Others, I'm like, oh wow, this is beautiful. But do I have the guts to act like that? I don't think so. I think that's great acting. All three of the actors are beautiful. I loved what was done in that film, but I don't have the guts to do that. I'm too insecure to do a film like that. I'm like, no, I don't know if this will work or not. Yesterday I was sitting and saying, it was so quiet, the film. It was so silent. It was in 2 places maximum. And it was just so nice. It was so nice. It was just so, it made me feel simple lines like, you know, anyone who likes this music can't really be so bad, you know. So there's such nice lines and such beautiful people. I loved the people in the film, which means they were acting really well. They're beautiful people. I don't know how they are personally, but they were beautiful people. So I don't know if I can do something like that. I have no enigma around my acting. Fantastic film. Who's the actress?
The main actor died, unfortunately. The main actor, the officer, he died a few months ago.
How?
Yeah, he had cancer.
So
Stomach cancer.
So that means he was like that while making the film also?
Yeah, he'd been ill for years, but he didn't tell anybody. And so everybody was wondering, because the film won the Oscar, and he was in Los Angeles, and everybody was wondering why he was so subdued. You know, he sort of didn't seem to be over the top. And we did a special program on him. I think it was July or August. That was about the time when he died.
Fantastic actor. I think all 3 of them.
Yeah, Martina Gedeck, she's very good. The
Beautiful.
lady.
So beautiful she is.
Robert De Niro. She was at the Berlin Film Festival last year.
So beautiful she was.
Yeah.
And even the gentleman, I don't know, I'm sorry I couldn't get the name.
I think it's
I think if I was just to philosophize it, I would say there is no difference. But truly it exists. I think it exists in the commerce of both the genres. I think entertainment is more commercially viable, is also more expensive to make, because see, I'll tell you what, there is a distinction. There is show business, which is about making sure you make a big, huge splash about the movie and get big, huge numbers of people to come and watch it in the first 2 weeks and get it over with. That is show business. You talk loudly about your product, get a lot of people to come in, and I think there's some great acting and performances and storylines in that also. Time and again, not always, because they have a more scientific approach that okay, A is equal to B, B is equal to C, and C is equal to business. So let's go and do this, which is good, which is very smart. A lot of thinking required to make a smart film which makes money. Means a lot of smart people. On the other hand, there is a film which is more from the heart, which also is very smart, because sometimes to analyze non-existing intangible things and put them into some kind of words and emotions is very difficult. To say something very heartfelt, it's very difficult to express heartfelt things in 2 dimensions, but people do it. Maybe it doesn't earn the money, but again, a lot of people who are feeling and a lot of smart people. So I think there is a distinction in terms of the business aspect. It's not very loud, it doesn't attract people too hard, it just lets you be, lets you see it, enjoy it, take back home more than the popcorn packet and say, okay, this is nice, I felt nice, and you discuss about it. As far as commonality is concerned, I think both are very smart people. Both are people who are very intelligent, wanting to say right things in a brief amount of time. As far as the business is concerned, there is a distinction, of course. It's a cheaper film to make. Somebody told me yesterday that, a smaller film is nice because nobody else is important, not the star, not the songs, not the marketing. The story is more important when you do a small film. So, there will be discussion on that, because I think even big film story is important. But I think the commonality is both of them are made by people who are very smart and feeling a lot. But the way to attract the audience is different. So there is a distinction, 100%. I personally enjoy the louder commercial cinema. I like Chak De also. I do that once in a year because it's nice to go there, nice to feel, nice to say, okay, we didn't have enough resources, but we were able to express. So I try to balance it amongst the 2 or 3 films that I do, that this is nice, okay, I just like to do it quietly. Sometimes I want to be loud, so I do the other one. But there is a distinction. I feel the distinction doing my scenes in those films. So of course there is a difference. There's a different way of portraying both the, even the same scene, I portray it differently in both the films. Who dubs mine? Pedro.
Your voice is very famous in Germany, not your voice.
I know.
But the German voice.
I don't know, I met him once in London,
Pascal
I think.
Breuer,
What's his name?
He's an actor called Pascal Breuer.
Okay, thank you, Pascal Breuer, for making me famous. Thank you, Pascal. I wanted to, yeah, I think I've met him, if I'm not mistaken. Because somebody told me in London, he's the one who does all the German dubs and all, so it's really wonderful. So if
I have seen one scene of Shah Rukh Khan with German dubbing. It was very unusual.
Pascal, you do a film and you want it translated into Hindi, I'll dub for you. I also believe, see, people tell me that there's a globalization of Indian cinema. I think no, there is globalization of India. It's not cinema. Cinema is the face of a country. Normally, whenever a country is progressing, the first thing that comes to fore is its culture. We get to know about its culture first, because that is the packaging of the country. Perhaps even arguably the most interesting thing of a country for an outsider. Like if you're thinking of going to, say, Malaysia, or you're planning to go to Japan, or you're planning to go to Mongolia, or you're planning to come to India, the first thing that you want to know is, what are the people like? What do they wear? How do they dance? What language do they speak? So the culture is what is first you're interested in. You don't see, okay, let me just work out the economy and the Sensex figures of India before I go to India. Let me see if in the world map and in the loans from the IMF, how much is Malaysia taking the money? You go to visit a country, you want to like a country, you want to like the people, the first thing that you get to know of them is the culture, or want to know is the culture. So I think India is globalizing. They're taking over Jaguar and whatnot, Arcelor and everything. So, when that becomes noticeable, people like to know about the culture of the country. I don't think, sometimes people think Bollywood is responsible for taking India. I don't think so. I think India is responsible for taking Bollywood to the forefront. And after a couple of years, it will be accepted. Our films are like this. And the first attractive part of Bollywood is, what do? Oh, they sing and dance. Oh, wow. We don't do that in our films anymore. I mean, Life of Others, nobody's dancing. Actually, there's nobody in the film. There are very few people on the street. So you're like, oh, nobody's dancing in this film. So, it's a new thing. It's like Kung Fu. It's like, I see girls on the beach wearing bikinis in a foreign film. Like, oh, that's nice. We don't have girls in bikinis on the beach in India. So it's the packaging. I'm not demeaning the status of my cinema, but I think this is what is true. It's my personal opinion. I may be completely wrong, and a lot of people can argue with it. But I think India is on the move. And when they tell me that India is going to take over the world market, I don't think so. I think we have the hugest market in the world after China. The world is going to come here. I'm completely going against the grain. I think, when everything is coming your way, just stop to think for a moment, are you in the wrong lane? I think we are like that. Right now we are thinking, we are heading out. No, actually the world is coming in. And we need to turn around and come back and say, we need to be here and be ready for the world. I need to give infrastructure to the world. I need to give stuff to the world. So when they come in, all that, they're not just going to come and have song and dance here. They need women in bikinis also. No, I'm just joking. But they need what all they're used to in the West. So I need to give that platform. If I truly want Indian cinema to grow, we are a world market right now. We have the maximum number of consumers, maybe after China. That's why the world is looking at us. And one of the other things they're looking at is this cultural part, the cinema part of it. I call it cinema culture. And you're like, okay, there's a huge market, but Spider-Man's not done as well in India as it's done in South Africa or Japan. What is it? Why doesn't it do? Because we have a very strong Indian film industry. People are very clearly satiated with our cinema. We are able to fulfill the desires of Indian cinegoers with our films. They don't need anything from outside. So the outside people have to come and make that cinema if they want to earn money, because we have a big market. So I truly believe that is the thing. So when they put me on a platform and say, talk about globalization of cinema, I think it's very utopian. I think no country really goes and takes over the world. Those days are gone. I think the world comes to your country and spreads you to the world. And I think that is true globalization. I don't think it's the other way around, that India will own the world. Those days are gone when you sort of went to conquer the world. The world comes to you because you are offering enough space for them to come and grow further. That is what is going to be the conquests of the world now. That does your country allow me, like say your country allows me to come there and show my movies now. So I'm conquering Germany. When you say, oh, it's not the other way around, that Germany came and took over my country and said, okay, we want your cinema. No, it's not like that. It's the love. It's the space that they give me. So if you're inviting me, if you're doing an interview with me, I feel love, and I come there and I say, oh, wow, really nice. The last film I released, I got 2 theaters. Now they're offering me 20. So they're offering me a platform to come and show my work. So it's beautiful. I think that's what is globalization. It's like all barriers being broken, and inviting people to your country is globalization, not the other way around. So it sounds very nice. Indian cinema is on the threshold of breakthrough and going to take over the world, and oh crap. We don't even speak the world language. I mean, we don't do films in English. That's the language people like to watch. I mean, that's the international language. So we have to accept it. We can't accept everybody's going to overnight turn around and speak in Hindi. Nobody is. That'll be foolish. So I get a little bored saying, yeah, we're on the threshold, our cinema is making inroads and waves, and we are going to take over the world. No, I think we just are opening ourselves to the world to come and participate in our market, participate on our platforms, like Germany is doing to our cinema. We are doing it to the world cinema. So please come and make films here. And I would love it if Germans came here and made their films here. And if I can offer you the infrastructure, if I can give you the camera you're used to, if I can give you the rooms you're used to, if I can give you the raw stock you're used to, if I can give you post-production that you're used to, well, you'll love to come here. So that is how we are globalizing. We are giving global, what the world is used to, kind of platforms for working here. That I think is globalization of India. what is actually with the same amount of pride that everyone takes pride in their own country. You know, it gives us a sense of being. I think by virtue of being born on a specific area of the world, you sort of feel ownership to it and feel owned by it. And it gives you, like, you see, when you dive underwater, then you keep this little string attached to the boat because you need to come back. So I think everybody needs that security, and that security is offered by the country that you are born in. Whatever the status of the country, the situation, rich, poor, sad, bad, sometimes, you're very proud. Sometimes it gets misconstrued into wrong actions, but sometimes, most of the times, people are just very proud of like your house proud. You're very proud of your own space. You're proud of your desk that you work on. You're proud of the tools that you work with. So to me, being an Indian means that kind of pride.
How brilliantly he expressed this. Really, he has unique take on everything.
It means people tell me that because I was an outside in this business and I made it big, and I have been above board, and I've been honest and hard work, the first two things that come out, people say mostly, truly or not truly maybe, I don't know, but people say, okay, he works hard, he's honest, he's, you know, creating a nice kind of empire for himself out of the work that he does. You know, and I've been very, very open about telling young people there is no problem in desiring a lot as long as you deserve it. So work towards it. I want people to be rich. I want people to be famous. I want people to do well in their lives. I want them to feel once all the goodness and good things of life. If they don't like it, they don't need to use it, but they need to be having access to it. They should have the choice not to decide to have a big house or a small car. They should have the choice. I think everyone should have the choice. So whenever I'm given a platform, I'm very clear, and I tell people that I would like to say this. If you think of me as a leader, I'm not only going to talk about the philosophy of life. I want to talk about the reality of life. It's good to want more, because how much ever you want, you're never going to get that much. It's good to be greedy for knowledge. It's good to be greedy for life. These are all aspects of life, but in a good sense. Work hard towards it. Don't be dishonest towards it. And whenever I'm called upon, like say Lead India campaign, so they said, you know, what do you believe in? I said, I believe in doing. So it's okay, the campaign should be just do. Just get up and do. Don't just talk about it. Do it. Go wrong. I think I want every youngster, at least my children, I want them to have the capacity, the guts, the honesty, and the innocence to turn around and say, I don't know. I think it's the most beautiful sentence in the world. I don't know.
You do know why you turned.
Sorry.
But you probably know why you turned producer.
Yeah, I know why I turned producer, because what was happening to me was I was wanting to do creative stuff from the parallel side, and whenever I wanted to do it, I was a big star. Everyone said, yes, 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 we'll do this. And I realized I'm imposing my beliefs onto other people's money. I was not putting my mouth where my money is. I wanted to put my mouth where my money was, and I said, okay, when I want to make a film, which I want to make, and I could sense, you know, the guys were like, you really want to do this? We'll do it with you. And they would put the money and lose it. So I'm like, no, let me just make my own films. When I turned producer with Aziz and Jui, my friends, at that time nobody was producing a film actually. So I said, okay, let's do it ourselves. Why are we scared? There was this gentleman sitting who was not from the world of cinema. And he said, but you guys are so talented, I'll put in the money. But we said, you don't do cinema business. He says, yeah, but I like you guys. I have faith in you. So we just looked at each other and said, oh, if there's an outsider has so much faith in us, why don't we have? Let's put our money where our mouth is, and you know, let's do this stuff, whatever we want to make. So we made films which didn't do well. And I'm very proud to say, as a producer, I still haven't succumbed to what I believe I can do with others and earn money. I still make the films I want to make. So I make a Paheli, which doesn't do well, but goes for the Oscars. And I know I won't win it, but I follow it through. I would make an Ahsoka. I'm very proud of Chalte Chalte. I'm very proud of Om Shanti Om. You know, with all the entertainment attached to it, it's a cult film. Nobody's done a film like this. And I wanted to make a film for the Western audience of what they think Indian cinema is, and make fun of it and tell them that, listen, I make fun of it too. And when Farah and me used to meet, she's done Andrew Lloyd Webber's Bombay Dreams, and When I go to Selfridges, I see people with side locks, and they still think Indians are like that. So I want to tell them, look, we were like that in the 70s, and we also laugh at it. So just don't think yourself superior that, oh, Indian cinema is loud and, it's got side locks and bell bottoms. And no, we are not. We make fun of it ourselves. And I thought the Western audience would understand and like it. They wanted to see this, so we're showing it to you. I want to tell you, we also laugh at our own cinema. We also think it's loud. We also think it's vulgar sometimes. We also think it's colorful. We also think that it's over the top. But you know what? We're very proud of it. We enjoy it, laughing at ourselves. A nation which can't laugh at itself is going to be doomed. So we are ready to laugh at ourselves. Of course, you pay a price. Sometimes people put cases on you, but that's okay. So I want to do films. I became a producer because I wanted to make films which a lot of other people may turn around and say, see, today everyone says, oh, you've made a lot of money, but people forget I made 3 flop films before I made 3 hit films. I lost a lot of money. I had to earn a lot of money, and all the money in that company is mine. And even now, we don't tie up with anyone. We make the film, we finish it, and then we show it to people and say, you want it, take it, otherwise we'll release it ourselves. So I want to be a standalone producer who can have a certain kind of voice on his own through the films that he makes. Plus, I believe in entertainment, so I will never make a film which is not entertaining, or at least I think is not entertaining. I will always want to, I'm an entertainer, so I believe in that, and as long as you you think you're an entertainer, you will earn the money. But I want to make films which have a little difference. I would have loved to make Chak De. Shimit used to work with us. I really wanted to make Chak De. Of course, he went away, he was signed with someone else, but I'd made Paheli, I'd make Ashoka, I'd make an Om Shanti Om, so I'm happy doing that. That's the reason I'm a producer. I don't count the money.
You did the special effects for Chak De, didn't you?
Yeah, we have a big setup now of VFX, which is my biggest business plan. I really think visual effects is going to be the next big thing in India, and I truly believe I want to be the best visual effects provider for the rest of the world when they come here. Like I was saying, to create platforms for the world to come and say, okay, oh, this is here. I don't need to bring it from back home. Let's make a film here. So when a company from Germany comes to make a film here, I say, oh God, where do we get oh, this is good. This is nice. So I'm going to present to the world a state-of-the-art VFX factory or a company. So yeah, we have a big VFX. We've done Dawn, we've done Chak De, we've done Jhum Barabar, we've done Om Shanti Om. We do a lot of ads, a lot of good work. And now I'm planning a film which will be very visual effects heavy, so to make it look like a calling card for the company.
Railways.
No.
All of that I tried to research.
Now I'll tell you, my father, my grandfather was Iftikhar Ahmed. He was the chief engineer, Karnataka state, and he built the Mangalore port. He was educated in London and stuff, and he was one of the top engineers of our country. My father was the youngest freedom fighter of this country, and he fought for the freedom from the British, and he was jailed when he was 16 or 19, and he had a lot of friends. One of his friends or one of his very close associates, or maybe related to him, is General Shahrukh Khan, who is one of the leaders of the INA, Indian National Army at that time, with Subhash Chandra Bose. So General Shahrukh Khan is, in a way, very close to our family, as a friend perhaps, or maybe related also. But my father wasn't that. My father was Mir Taj Muhammad, who was a freedom fighter. And my grandfather was, from my mother's side, was a very educated, upscale engineer who made Mangalore port and did a lot of development for the southern state of Karnataka. And so that's, yeah, they're very interesting. My family is very interesting. My father was a lawyer, he was a freedom fighter. My mother was a magistrate and a social worker. My sister herself is MA in psychology, and we all weird. Yeah, I have an eccentric, strange family. Yeah.
You have brilliant genes.
Oh, I'm immensely thrilled that Om Shanti Om is more than the film festival, and not deriding the importance of Berlin Film Festival. I've been invited there before, wish I could come, but they wanted 8-9 days. I can come for a few days because I'm working normally that time. That's the best weather to shoot in Bombay actually, Feb. So we normally are doing outdoor bits in Bombay, and I'm just so thrilled. I'm coming to Germany. I'll come for 2-3 days. I'd like to spend a lot of time with all the German people, teach them a few Hindi words, So to all the Germans who are there, I'd just like to, I don't know any German words except Achtung, Achtung, and what else do I know? How do you say good morning?
Guten Morgen.
Good Morgen. Good Morgen, yeah. So I want to tell all the Germans that when I come there, you have to say, Aap kaise ho? And I'll say, Main bahut acha hu. So it'll be really nice to come down to Germany. I really look forward. I've been there once or twice. I think I'm one of the few actors who's been there so often on film work and to promote Indian cinema. So I single-handedly feel responsible that I'm the one who's been able to get all the love from the Germans. So I'm really thrilled that I'm coming to Germany. And I've been telling everyone, I'm looking forward to it, really looking forward to it. I want to spend some time. And is it cold that time there? Oh, so nice. I like the cold. And I get a lot of hugs from all the Germans, so it'll keep me warm. So I'm really looking forward to, and seeing you. I'm sure there are a lot of beautiful people in Germany, so I'm going to see a lot of beautiful people, and hope they like the film also. So it'll be really nice to be in Berlin and in Germany.
Wow. It seems this was made after release of Om Shanti Om. It is always great pleasure to listen to Shah Rukh Khan, of course. But it was very amazing as well to listen Karan Johar, Farah Khan and Mushtaq Sheikh when they talked about him. So many nice things were said. It was impossible not to be impressed when Farah Khan said that Shah Rukh Khan had the worst van in the industry, but he didn't want to change it because the guy who brought the van every day would lose his job then. And I was 100% agree with Karan when he said that Shah Rukh Khan is mostly loved because of his off-screen persona. And I loved how Karan praised Shah Rukh Khan's performance in Chakti India. I know how generous Shah Rukh Khan is as a producer, as I have heard about it several times. But it was still nice to hear it from Farah Khan once again. But I mostly loved what Mushtaq Sheikh said about Shah Rukh Khan. Especially when he said that Shah Rukh Khan hadn't a single negative bone in his body. I recommend you to read his book Still Reading Khan if you haven't read it yet. Interestingly, Mushtaq Sheikh said that according to him Shah Rukh Khan would be a spiritual guru if he wasn't an actor because he had unique take on everything. I partially agree with this. But I think he would be in more commercial and again creative field. Shah Rukh Khan's interview had a lot of interesting moments, of course. Especially when he talked about being Indian, pressures his children had, and his movies and fans. How sweetly he said that he didn't like to call people his fans as they were his employees. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you.